EA, not wanting to be left out of the media surrounding Activision, Blizzard, and Ubisoft, have hired a new director of sexual harassment. They can't wait to get out there and take the media by storm in a few months. In other fake news, this is Nuclear Grenade Podcast. Hello, welcome to Nuclear Grenade Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Land, and with me is Havoc, aka Hey Ho. How you doing, Hey Ho?
It's me. How are you doing, Vanilla Face?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Doing okay. Yeah.
Excellent.
You might as well talk about video games.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, okay.
Start us off.
Yeah. So there's 2 free Epic games this week. A Plague Tale: Innocence and Minute. We'll talk first about Minute here. It's a single-player indie game that was made by Devolver Digital, rather published by Devolver Digital. Yeah.
Well, they publish the good shit, though.
Yeah, they've been having a lot of good stuff coming out lately. But they've got a couple developers on there: JW, Kitty, Jukio, and Dom. Must just be like four different people.
We're badasses, dude, out there slinging that code.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a black and white 2D indie game. It's an action adventure, and
it's got like a gimmick, right?
Yeah, that's why it's called Minute. You have 60 seconds each day to get what you need to get done to further
That's all it
progress.
ever takes me. 60 seconds. So to progress through the day, you have a minute.
Nicolas Cage over here. Yeah, and at the end of the 60 seconds, you die. And then you respawn at a respawn point. So in the beginning of the game, it'll be like a van or something, and later it'll be like a little house. And the goal is to get further and further and expand out into this map as far as you can. And to do that, you have to reach these different checkpoints. So within 60 minutes and the day before you die, you have to go and grab a tool over here and then use it to break open a barricade over there, opening access. I'm just speaking in vague generalities here.
Well,
That's essentially...
How big are these kind of areas? Like, does it feel like... I mean, obviously they have the minute there to create a sense of rush, and stress. So does it feel like you have like a decent, like ample amount of time to get stuff done in that minute? Or
when you first start playing, the 60 seconds feels really relevant, but the further you get into the game, the less the timer really matters, and the less you worry about it, because you got kind of a feel for the game, and you got kind of an idea of, okay, I got 60 seconds to get this done today. And if you don't, no big deal. And there's actually a way that you can kill yourself. So if you know that you're not going to make it, you can just kill yourself and respawn and retry what you had planned. And they're like little puzzles and stuff.
It'd be awesome if they had like an animation where he just looks at the camera like all sad. He's like...
It's like super graphic.
Yeah, right before like letters pop. It's like, you did this to me.
And then like it like zooms in. It's not like a 2D shitty graphic. It's like super good graphics, like super realistic.
And then it shows like his kid in the background.
Oh no,
Daddy!
Oh my god.
So anyways, you can kill yourself.
Yeah. It's gotten really good reviews, very positive from Steam, and really good on Google users as well. So people like it. One of the big complaints about it at this point is that the 60-second timer thing does start to feel kind of artificial later in the game, and it's just kind of a gimmick that you can tell that the developers just kind of threw in there, maybe not last minute, but like halfway into the game, they're like, oh, I got a good idea. What if we put a timer on this? Like, and also it seems like they were trying to make like an old Zelda game at first. And then halfway through, they're like, you know what? Let's make this other game instead.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of kind of doing like a deconstruction throwback to the timer, but I mean, I fucking hate timers. Everyone hates timers. Like, they were just bad game design, unless like it actually is like this, where it is kind of wrapped into the gameplay in a unique way. Otherwise, there's just such better ways to create that tension, in my opinion, in that rush.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. It just reminds me of that old Bernie Mac joke, where you'd be like, you wake up in the morning and your wife's all mad from last night. She'll be like, breakfast will be ready in about 1 minute. Hey, everybody, it's your dad, Mr. 1 minute. He's a 1 minute man.
Oh, God. So, Minute came out originally April 3rd, 2018. So, it's not like a brand new game either. And
about a minute ago.
And if you, Minute. And by the way, it's spelled MINIT. So, if you search for it, it's not spelled like actual minute. But it's $10 typically on Steam. So, if you want to get it, you might as well get it for free now on Epic. And that's pretty much it. Not much else to say about that one.
Yeah. So I was playing a game. It just came out on Game Pass the other day. I think maybe even yesterday. But it's called Dodgeball Academia. It's a very cool looking game. It's just like oozing with fucking awesome coolness. Art style's bright and fun. It's got all the characters are very unique and have like awesome, unique looks. It's kind of got like I don't know. What am I trying to think of? Did you ever watch Foster's Home for Imaginary Monsters?
No, I'm not familiar with that one.
So it was like this Nickelodeon cartoon. It was a little after our time, but I watched a couple episodes. But it had like all these little imaginary monsters or whatever living in it, and they all had this unique color scheme and look. And this definitely has that. But basically, what it is it's a sports RPG around dodgeball. You go to this sweet academy of dodgeball, and it plays like I don't know. It's got like a tiny bit of Pokemon in there, and actually, like when you enter a battle, like there'll be people that if you run by, they'll trigger the battle, and it has like that Pokemon sound of like when you go to the battle, like no, but it does like a rock, like kind of like electro rock version of it, a little
like Digimon, like a Digimon version.
Yeah, but a little more like fun and rockish, like okay, did you ever play SXS, those old snowboarding games?
Yes.
And they were like
SSX.
Extreme, and you'd be like, wow, and it was like bright and colorful and cool like that. This kind of has that aesthetic to it.
I could see that. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now on Google here. 99% of Google users liked this game. I don't think I've ever seen 99% on anything before.
100% on Steam right now. 40 out of 40. 100%.
So it's actually like, no shit, like a good game.
Okay, so it's a lot of fun. So the battles break down where there's a few different types of battles. Sometimes it's like one-on-one, and you're playing against another person. Like you can catch the ball, but you have to have the right timing. If you're the main character, you can just try to run and dodge it. And then you have your throw. You can charge up and do like a superpower throw and get like one of my characters does fire damage, the other does like electricity damage. Then there's ultimates that you can use, and then they just get knocked out. But then there's like up to 3v3s, and there's times when if you knock someone out, they go behind you. And so you don't want to just dodge the ball then, because the guy behind you will catch it and then hit you from behind. You have strength stats, agility stats, and a technique stat. There's cool things you can do too. I know with my main character, you can kind of hold back when you throw it, and you'll do like a slow throw. And like certain characters have different abilities. Like so my other character, she doesn't catch the ball, but she kicks. So she does like a counter attack. So if you time her countering attack, she doesn't even catch it. She just like kicks it right back at them. And she doesn't have she has a dodge roll. Like my main character can't dodge roll. He can jump though, but she rolls on the ground. And it's really fast. And so she's more of like an agility focused character. More strength you have, more damage you do, more agility, a little bit faster you go. Technique, I think, is for your specials. The one issue I have is like and this is probably by design, but the rink is really small. So you don't have like tons of room to maneuver, and especially when you get 3 characters in there, it can kind of be a little weird. you can easily pass the ball to one of your other characters if you want to try using them. Maybe because some characters have like their own like special abilities. So there's this one guy who doesn't just throw the ball at you; he throws it in the air and it kind of lands down on you. And so having her is not as like the girl out is not as effective because she can't kick it back, but she can easily dodge it. So there's like a bit of strategy. I haven't gotten too far into it, but you have items you can equip that do different things. So far, they're kind of boring stuff like boost 10% damage, 15% agility. One does sap health, so 15% of the damage you do comes back as health, which is nice. But it's really cool, and it's just this quirky world where everything's kind of like dodgeball related, and the music's really cool. Everything fits together really well, and I don't know, it just has this kind of Nickelodeon style cartoon anime, like / anime style to it. Or actually, too, some of the characters look like straight out of like the Beatles, Yellow Submarine music video, the cartoon against the Greeny Meanies or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just very cool. It's kind of like a psychedelic, fun little hip hop RPG. I don't know how big it is. I doubt it's very big, but
no, it's got 44 total reviews on Steam, but it's pretty brand new. It came out August 5th of this year. Developers Pocket Trap, publishers is Humble Games. Yeah, that's a kind of a game that I wouldn't expect to be very good, but I guess it is very good.
Yeah, I'm having fun with it. I'll probably try to finish it. And I'll say too, like it's not the easiest game. Some of these guys hit really hard. There's like a decent amount, a little bit of side quests I've gotten. I've only unlocked one other character, but you can get like a bunch of them. Looks like. So yeah, like really enjoying it. Yeah, it's a blast. I recommend everyone pay the $1 and get the 3 months of Xbox Game Pass and just try it out.
Yeah, hell yeah. Justin finally talked me into doing that, and I'm glad I finally did.
Yeah. Oh, otherwise it is $25 on Steam. Anyways, you want to go into the other Epic game?
Yeah, so the second free Epic game this week is A Plague Tale: Innocence. I'm sure most people, if you're a gamer, has probably heard about this one already. But for those of you who haven't, it's a single-player game that takes place in a French countryside. Really beautiful art. Like during the day, like if it's in the fall and there's like leaves and stuff, it's very beautiful. But then it's also got an extreme contrast at night, like when the rats come out and it gets really dark. So it's a very dark game, but it's also got its very light areas, kind of like how The Witcher 3 was cinematic in a way. So from a visual standpoint, really awesome. And then from the story line, you're a girl named Amicia, I believe it's pronounced, and you have to take care of your little brother Hugo. I'm jumping over some of the major plot points, but essentially you got to protect him from being captured by the Inquisitors, I believe they are.
Hey, what's his deal?
He's like sick, but there's like some kind of crazy, but it's not the plague. He doesn't have the plague. And there's this huge demand, and they're sending soldiers to try to find him, and you're trying to keep him safe. And it's mostly a stealth game. It's very linear. It's kind of split up into levels, and you pretty much have to sneak your way through these levels. There are times when rats will come out, and when that happens, you have to get next to a light source or create a light source so you don't get bit and get the plague and die. Nice. And you know how Silent Hill, the movie, how it had kind of that creepy atmospheric tone to it?
The first one?
The movie, yeah.
Oh, no, the movie. Yeah, there was a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of has that vibe, I would say, like at night when the rats come out. But the further you play into the game, the more you get used to the game. Like, it's not a difficult game. It's like a walking simulator /
you're going through this story and like the emotions, right?
Yeah, it's very cinematic, character driven. It's like playing a movie, you know. So if you want like a chill gaming experience, that's also very cinematic and pretty, then this is probably a good one to pick up. I mean,
It
hell,
always reminded me. It's almost like a stealth version of like the what are they called? Uncharted games.
mhm.
You know, where really you're playing kind of this movie. It's on rails, but fun. Although those ones are shooting stuff and doing all other stuff.
And they've got Sean Bean as a voice actor. That's how you know it's good.
Yeah. So he dies in like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, poor Sean Bean. What a likable guy.
Sean Bean must die.
So the developer on that is Asobo Studio. Publisher is Focus Home Interactive. Came out May 14th, 2019. Very positive reviews. I have like 33,000 reviews. So it's a solid game. If you don't get it for free, it's typically $40 on Steam.
Yeah.
So
I've seen it on sale quite a bit, but yeah. Let's go snag that.
snag it up. Snag.
Yeah, that one came out like what, 2017? 2018?
Oh, I already forgot.
Yeah, just
2019.
2019.
2019.
Have you been playing anything else?
Still doing 7 Days to Die pretty hardcore.
Nice.
It's probably not the best time to be doing it because Alpha 20 is right around the corner. So I should be saving all this juice for Alpha 20. But I'm balls deep. I'm addicted.
Yeah.
So
Balls deep and addicted.
that's gonna be the name of my autobiography. Balls deep and addicted.
Yeah. Besides the dodgeball game, I played a little bit of Oxygen Not Included. Only played for like an hour or two. Probably gonna pick it back up though. I've played a lot overall. That game's a lot of fun. It's like your little it's like a side scroller colony builder, but you're like in not space, but this kind of like a weird world. And so the game has like these interactions between gases, and it has a really cool liquid physics to it, where all these gases interact and sort themselves. And you have to kind of build your base where you build like a big long tunnel to funnel in like all the carbon dioxide that'll like fall to the ground, and like your dupes is what they call. You're duplicating these characters. So they're like little clones, basically. And they have like talents, just like RimWorld, where some are good at stuff and some are bad at stuff. And you want to build toilets, otherwise the waste will fall. Like if you leave food on the ground, little critters will eat it. You have to like dig through different metals and biomes, and some of them give you food, some of them produce oxygen. You got to keep your oxygen levels correct. You'll get like poison type smog from like your fecal matter or your waste from your dupes. Very beautiful looking game too. The art style is awesome. Just those kind of like old, not Invader Zim really style, but kind of that coloring and the thick lining of the art. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. You can build all sorts of like new technologies and make your base look pretty swanky, all sorts of kind of dupes, and eventually you can build up to having like space suits so you can get out really far, and you can find like thermal vents that create immense amounts of heat. And that's another thing about this game, is that you have to have a real heat management. So there's kind of like this pop sci-fi, or not sci-fi, but pop science to it, where like if your base overheats, you want thermal walls around like any kind of heat producing like volcano, but eventually you can create these kind of rooms that will like take the heat and funnel it through water, or heat these pipes, which will then like go through like your chlorine gas area, and it'll heat that up and create and you can do different stuff like that. And there's multiple different types of metals that have different heat rating. So it's like a lot of fun to have a kind of little base builder with an emphasis on those type of things. So you are on like a type of asteroid. So once you go up higher on the map, you'll see the areas being bombarded by asteroids all the time. But you can eventually build like space rockets and then go to other worlds. I don't think I've ever gotten that far, but it's a lot of fun. That one's worth checking out too. It's from Clay. They're like one of my favorite video game makers, if not my favorite. They make Don't Starve. And,
I was gonna say it's made by your boys over there at Clay. Developed and published it. Overwhelmingly positive reviews. 66,000 reviews. And I mean, hell, they got the buy the Clay Survival bundle for $40, and that's got Don't Starve Together, Oxygen Not Included.
That's a good deal.
And a bunch of other shit. Yeah,
all those games are great. And then Oxygen Not Included is it's a swag ass game. Especially if you like playing around with stuff, because the stuff you can do with like the gases and creating like infinite cooling loops or infinite charging loops and infinite oxygen loops and stuff. It's very cool.
Well, very cool. It's interesting. When I'm looking at it, it's like, oh, since you've played Satisfactory, you might like this game. So I don't know if you're familiar with Satisfactory, but would you say it's got some of those elements, what you're talking about with like loops and stuff and setting up little systems?
Yeah. In that way, there's not like a ton of, infinite running chains on conveyor belts, but there is some of that. And just some of the stuff like they design is really cool. Like, so if I'm building up, normally you want like a few spaces in between your rooms or whatever, where you're building your ladders. But then you'll put like a fireman pole next to it. And so just so you guys can go down. So you can come up with little strategies like that too. And things that just make the game more fun to play and see. Big ups on that game. And then other than that, I've just been playing the shit out of CK2. I had one of my, so I started as Venice once, as a Republic of Venice, oldest start date. I get like 4 years in, and then I turn to Satan or whatever, start worshiping Satan. I'm like, hell yeah, fuck yeah. Then I get like the voice of Satan. He starts making all my stats go down and shit. And then I'm like dying really early. And my heir, my oldest son, he's already had a bastard. So then I die. Like I die, and I go to him. And then my bastard isn't just a bastard. It's a inbred bastard.
No.
My son's out here fucking his cousin.
What?
Yeah. Now I'm left with a fucking moron heir.
And that's Crusader Kings 3, is that right?
2. I was playing 2.
Oh, you're playing 2.
Yeah, I went back to 2. Just for the more events and stuff. Anyways, want to, I guess, just jump right into the news?
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
Alrighty. So we got Elden Ring appears on the Steam page, and it appears to have January 20th, 2022 listed, which is not that far away. I figured it'd be further out than that. But that's cool. You can go look at those pictures and the trailer on there.
You think a lot of people are still hyped for that?
Well, yeah, I am. I mean, yeah, I mean, even though I said it looks like a Dark Souls game. To me, that's really, really good. Like, I love all the Dark Souls games. I'll definitely get it, probably day one. Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to go into the dark again. And you said you haven't played those, right?
No, I haven't played a single one.
I think you'd enjoy them too. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm just a noob, dude.
Dude, you're not even a hardcore Hacksaw gamer like me.
No.
Unbelievable. So, Southern News article I thought was kind of interesting, and this is what happened with like YouTube back in the day. But Epic has sunk apparently 500 million, so half a B, into the Epic Games Store. Doesn't expect to make a profit until 2027. And I think it's already been 2 years of giving out games. But like I was saying with YouTube, it's similar how they did it. Like, I don't think YouTube made any money for like 10, 15 years. Yeah, it's crazy the companies can just, you can have this kind of long view.
Yeah.
And just be like, $500 million. we have enough faith and we can wait it out. Because I mean, by the time that's 500 million right now, 2027, you know, so 6 more years. What is that? 3, 4, 5 billion investment?
That's insane. Yeah, like you gotta have some big brains behind you to pull the trigger on something like that.
Yeah.
Like, how do you tell the future with that big of an investment? That's scary, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I mean, you got the Chinese money behind you, but I also wonder with that Tencent money behind them, because I know that China recently put in that law that like children can't play video games after 10 p.m. It will just like automatically shut them off. And then they just recently categorized video games as digital drugs. So there's a huge push from the Chinese government to kind of push back on all their people playing video games, because video games are dope and these people live in China and they want to play games. So I wonder if we'll see that if Tencent's pocketbook gets hit by that, and then if that we see a cascading effect that transfers over to Epic. Yeah, this is this is from PC Gamer, but it says Epic Game Store is unprofitable and not comparable to the App Store. Lawyers began rather bluntly. So I guess this is part of Apple's lawyers. Various documents have come out from the ongoing Apple Epic legal case in the state of California. Essentially, Epic's arguing Epic Store is unprofitable and not comparable to the App Store, and will not be profitable for at least multiple years, if ever. If ever. Geez, that's a interesting thing to say. Well, if you're trying to get out of this, win this court battle. What's interesting is the Apple's legal eagles go on to break down just how unprofitable the Epic Game Store is. Epic lost around 180 million on EGS in 2019. Epic projected to lose 273 million on EGS in 2020. Indeed, Epic committed 444 million in minimum guarantees for 2020 alone. While projecting, even with significant growth, only 401 million in revenue for that year. Epic acknowledges that trend will continue in the immediate future. Epic projects to lose around 139 million this year. So yeah, this is. I think this is very interesting. I also think it's interesting. We're like, well, we should win this legal battle because we aren't making any money. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I think it's cool that companies can do this. I mean, this is how things like YouTube get done. You have to create something on scale. You have to lose money for years. So I guess that's how you get some of the really cool stuff. But God, that's wild to me.
Yeah, you better know a very important secret if you're going to be doing that.
Yeah. I'm a super spy who knows all the gaming secrets. I thought this was interesting. I don't have much to say about it, but so in the new FIFA that's coming out here in October 1st, they've changed the career mode, which I'm pumped for. Especially, it looks like specifically the player career mode, which is the one I prefer. And they've added like a skill point trees to it, and like talents. You know, like team talents that you can apply. So it seems like whatever character you play as, you can really kind of cater your style, the type of player you want to be, and then maybe even look at teams you think you'd be good with and transfer to them. But see, I like this. I like making the sports games more RPGs. Like sports RPGs are awesome.
Yeah, that's the only way that I would even consider playing a sports game nowadays, is if it had like a bunch of RPG elements and statistic stuff, which it sounds like a lot of the games do. I just haven't decided to dump a bunch of my time into a sports game.
Well, you know, Dodgeball Academia.
My wife would love that. She'd come home from nursing, like a shitty 12-hour shift. She comes home, I'm just like slack jawed, just staring at the screen, playing that.
Yeah.
At least
leave me alone, honey. You're just like a wild asshole too. Like, where's my dinner? You've been home all day and you still demand dinner.
Yeah, I've been playing Dodgeball Academia all day. Leave me the fuck alone.
I'm almost the best dodgeball champion in all of Academia! Bitch!
That game destroyed my life.
On burgers, too! What's that guy? You remember that movie Waiting? Where the guy and his like wife are like out at the bar and he's like, I'll have a steak and a double whiskey and my wife will have a salad and a water. Oh, hell, it's our anniversary. She'll have a Diet Coke.
Yeah, it was. I think that's what Ryan Reynolds Waiting. Or is
yeah,
that a different
I think
movie?
so. I think it's Ryan Reynolds and Dane Cook is in it too.
Oh yeah. What a douchebag that guy was.
He's not like I don't know. I've come full circle on him. I like him now.
I know. He's one of those people. I don't know why, but like I've had a friend like that before where I didn't like him. I didn't like the thought of him. But then like when I was actually around him, I'm like, you know what, this guy's actually I like this guy. you know? But it's like, well, once he's gone, it's like, dude, fuck that guy, man. That's kind of like Dane Cook.
Maybe it's like just his charm when he's around.
Yeah.
It's constantly charming you into liking him. So more Activision Blizzard Fallout.
Yes.
So yeah, can never be a podcast without talking about that. But apparently, it's now hitting them even more in the pocketbooks with Coca-Cola and State Farm pulling out as sponsors of Overwatch. Overwatch's pro gaming league. And I mean, Coca-Cola sponsoring like stuff now is actually wild. Like I didn't even realize we'd gotten to this point where companies like State Farm and Coca-Cola are advertising on esports, but they aren't anymore, at least for Overwatch.
Yeah, that's crazy how much power advertisers have over the media and just over businesses in general.
That moolah, baby.
Yeah, Coca-Cola doesn't like that. Now you're gonna go broke.
Plus, you come to me talking about sexually harassing women. Now you come to me asking for money for your Overwatch? No, my friend, this is something I cannot do.
You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of like a Chinese guy that was like Italian at the same time.
Yeah. It's me, the Chinese guy.
The Chinese Italian.
I am a very rare mix. An Italiano.
Oh, man.
I like my meatballs with Mongolian beef.
Ooh, that sounds good actually right now.
Yeah, dude.
Nice and spicy.
I'm gonna go walk up and get some monkey beef. Dude.
Monkey beef?
Yeah, dude.
I like that.
It's awesome. Is like in Washington, I can walk to like 4 different Asian spots. One's Korean. That's my favorite one.
Got that Korean barbecue, dude.
Yeah, I like the bulgogi.
Gesundheit.
Yeah.
I like bibimbap. You ever have that?
Bibbidi Bopido?
Yeah, bibimbap.
Bibimbap.
You should see if they have it. Super good.
Yeah, I doubt it. I only eat the good. So, I don't go.
Okay, well, I guess I'm the only one that eats shit around here.
Yeah. So, are there even Asians in Florida?
Yeah, there's lots of Asians here.
I've never seen one.
A lot more Cubans.
Yeah. Oh, I bet the Cuban food's awesome, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's a lot of Spanish influence around here.
So I think we mentioned this maybe a couple of months ago, but Nexus Mods announced that they were going to no longer allow modders to delete their mods anymore. And I guess this was because like a lot of mods depend on base mods. And so they wanted to stop all the cascading effect of all the other mods going bad. You were still allowed to like archive your work, but yeah, you weren't actually allowed to delete it anymore. So a few of the most popular modders had gone on there and removed all their stuff, and that went into effect on August 5th. So now, if you put a mod up there, you will not be able to delete it. So if you're a modder, hopefully you got to that in time. I'm sure you're well aware of that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, though?
Well, I'm sure that now modders are given like some kind of statement that they sign off on, saying, "Hey, I'm aware that if I upload this mod, that I lose control of it." And if they don't have a statement like that, that's obvious to the modder, to the uploader, then they should legally.
I'm sure they do.
Because it's kind of like the copyright issue, right? What is copyright? And with YouTube, a lot of it's very gray, and like fair use is a good example. Or like if you take something and you do a spoof of it, like you can use a lot of reused material, copyrighted material, but since you're changing the meaning of the material, it doesn't fall under copyright anymore. It's your intellectual property now. So like with the mods, it's kind of a question of owner's rights, and I guess people are just agreeing, it's definitely discouraging people from uploading, so they probably won't get as many modders now, if I had to guess.
I mean, there are other, I agree with that. I think that people that want the right and the ability to delete their stuff will go to other modding places, forums, places that host them. Nexus is a big one. They had that installer that you could install. That made it like really brain dead easy, so you didn't even have to download documents and drag it into modding folders or certain folders. You just click the game and it would install it that way, and it had its own built-in mod stack list. So like a lot of games where it's like you have to stack them in this order for it to play correctly, especially if you're doing large mod packs. It made it very easy. So we'll see if that audience doesn't attract the most modders anyways, or if there is kind of a bleeding effect where, well, if all the best modders aren't on here, then I'm going to go where they are because I want the best mods to play on Skyrim. I've only had the game for a decade and beaten it 10,000 times. Now I need to beat it, with Thomas the Train Engine.
With Barney.
Yeah. Dude, so the Sonic one is so funny. Just one guy had his horse with Sonic. It was just horrible looking.
The Skyrim mod?
Yeah.
Nice.
Skyrim was the best. It had like the biggest, dumbest fucking the Randy Savage mod.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It makes you wonder what people do with their time sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna put Barney into Skyrim. I'm gonna spend 12 hours doing that.
Dude, these are the cultural geniuses of our time. I mean, this is what culture is nowadays.
Yeah. The Reddit
putting Thomas the Train Engine as dragons into Skyrim.
The Reddit culture.
Yeah. Ooh, Reddit. Actually.
When you said that, I got this image of a librarian like looming over me, like correcting me. Well, actually,
those people with the puffy necks because they're so fat.
Yeah.
They put their fat one all into their neck.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
So next up we got Evil Dead, the game, delayed for polish and a single player mode. So I thought this was interesting. They announced the other day on Twitter, "Hey, groovy gamers, we're targeting a new release date to give the team some extra time for polish and to ensure this is the ultimate Evil Dead experience you've been waiting for. This additional time is allowing us to implement a single-player option that will let you enjoy the game with you or without your compadres." Screw that last part up. Especially because compadres. There we go. So fun. I like this. I like push the games back, make them more polished. I do think it's interesting they're pushing the game back and adding a single-player option. which is cool. I wonder though if they're like, what makes me worried about that is they're just like, oh, click it so you can play by yourself. But are they actually going to have a scaling option in there? So if you are playing single player, the enemies and strength and amounts that pour out will be tailored to that, or is it just going to be twice as high?
Yeah, that's interesting. That's something I always think about, like when I'm playing an RPG or something, is how are the enemies scaled? Yeah, yeah. And then I start thinking about how you would program that because I'm a nerd.
You are a nerd. You actually will then find this interesting. Click that link, that Springer link, there in Skype.
Yeah.
So this is the 2021 book of ray tracing information put out by NVIDIA team. And it's a free PDF online that you can just go and download. I'm sure we can sweet talk Hey-Ho into putting the link in the description of the video. But basically, this is like in-depth, most up-to-date, like modern information on ray tracing, how to like utilize the effects. For someone that's just a casual like me, I don't like necessarily understand all of this stuff. But it goes into really in-depth information here on common capture dimensions, resolutions, lensing, shutter, exposure, camera movement, camera rays, thin lens, fisheye, like all the different things, sampling textures, missing derivatives. There's math. They break down some of the math on how to get some of these lighting styles right, things that can happen with like moving images. So it's just kind of like a amazing breakdown and kind of like handbook for anyone that's developing game, trying to work in these features. Because even me, not knowing much of this, not understanding like every other word, it's still interesting for me to see and get kind of a very basic understanding.
Yeah, no, ray tracing is crazy shit, and it's a complex puzzle from a graphic programmer's point of view. Like, it's crazy how smart you have to be to try to figure out how light works and virtually render it in a way that most people's computers can, because there's certain ways that you can render light in a game or in a software program, but it's just so intensive on the hardware that most people can't afford to do it. So the trick is how do you make realistic lighting that most people can run on their GPUs? It's not an easy problem to fix, kind of like the shadows problem. It's
what's that?
Shadows? Well, you know,
the shadows problem.
Well, I don't know if there's something called the shadows problem per se, but there's a lot of problems with shadows. One of the reasons why you turn off shadows or turn shadows down is because it's so intensive on your hardware. Yeah. And there's probably better ways to do it that's not so intensive on your hardware, and you can get really good looking shadows, and just nobody's figured out how to do it yet. Yeah,
and I think to be able to ray tracing in the future and be able to get these very beautiful games that look very, very close to real life while still being large. Like if you can implement these systems, because doesn't it work? Maybe I'm wrong, but doesn't it work where it's almost working as like a central eye in the middle of everything? And so it's the way real light works in our universe, where it's bouncing off stuff and hitting our eye. It's kind of mimicking that exact same thing, so that the lighting looks as real as it could potentially be.
Yeah, and light works. It's not easy to articulate how light works. And for you to be able to program it, you not only have to figure out how to articulate it, but then also break it down and replicate it in a virtual realm. Fucking crazy, man.
Yeah. And I mean, this is like really in-depth knowledge here. And so it looks like a lot of fun. Maybe if someone's interested too, they could just look at it and try to figure it out and learn a lot that way.
Yeah, thank you. I'm actually gonna look at that. I'm gonna get it.
Yeah,
and I'll put the link up.
Oh yeah, it's also funny. Just the NVIDIA team, they put a picture of everyone that contributed to this book, and it's literally like 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
One girl, one. Just right in the middle, one girl. You're like
right in the middle. Yeah.
Maybe just take a couple pictures of people off the street and say they're in there.
There's not enough blacks or Asians. Come on, guys.
So I thought this one was funny. A quote here from EA CFO. It's to the testament of an exceptional game development team that was able to produce the right assets, to produce the right marketing materials, to help us drive this business and the teams working together. And you know what? I don't think we get enough credit for that. So he's talking about, or he's referring to Codemasters acquisition, and how like he thinks that they're doing amazing jobs with the studios they buy, that they don't get enough credit for them. And yet they fucking destroyed Bullfrog, Westwood, Visceral, and Pandemic, and plus a shit ton more of studios. So to ruin like that many amazing studios that were beloved to people, and like gut them, make them create shitty games, and then disband them, and then to turn around and say that you don't get enough credit for how your acquisitions go is just, it's amazing. These guys, like the CEOs, like executives, like I guess it's got to be like the insane narcissism required for the job, but to be that fucking dumb.
Yeah, typically it's not ever a good idea to guilt trip people into giving you gratitude, or, you know, showing, it's like, why isn't more people impressed with me? I demand.
Look how good we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gross. Like, if you have to tell people to congratulate you, then you probably shouldn't be getting congratulated about anything.
I don't know. To me, it's almost like he stepped into two giant piles of cow shit, and now he's walking around. He's like, "Why is no one complimenting me on my shoe?"
That's a really good analogy.
Your Italian leather.
That's a really good analogy, actually.
Okay, and then finally, EA talking about EA CEO talking to his investors. Dude, you should think of Battlefield as a service. And I think that is our orientation, but more important, I think you should think of Battlefield as a service, Wilson said during EA Q1 fiscal year 22 investors call. I will say, like, did you see the trailer for 2042 Portal?
I don't believe I've seen the Portal one.
Yeah, it's like Portal mode. So like the trailer is pretty cool, but it's like all these different guys from all different wars and eras and like technology fighting. And so it seems like it is going to be a game where you can have 1942 game mode and 2042, or and you maybe could have mix and matches. It looked like one mode was all like World War I, like German soldiers with knives all fighting an entire horde of like modern Iraq guys with the charging pads, and that was their only weapon. So it looks like you can have some really goofy, fun game modes, and that, you know, I don't know. I could see it being a decent live services game.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to services. You know, there is something cool about a game where you just buy it and then that's what it is. You know, but it's nice the service idea, because when I hear the word service in relation to a video game, I think that, you know, they're going to give you free DLC. They're going to constantly update the game and make it better. So the longer you own it, the better it gets, in a way.
Yeah, it just, usually they really suck at it.
Wow.
But I don't know. I think that's kind of cool, though. Yeah, just kind of take everything about your franchise and release it as kind of one Omega game. It looked like, too, in some of those modes, it seemed to me, and I might be wrong, but to my little eye, I did spy quite a few maps. I used to pry. But
nice
there were
try.
quite a few maps, yeah. There were quite a few maps, so it seemed like from Bad Company to Vietnam, I feel like there were maps from Battlefield 4 and stuff that I'd seen in there. Could be wrong, but I could see that. Like, yeah, dude, just play game modes on like, and they just slowly add old maps and stuff that people love to play back into the game, and it's like, well, now I can hop in and play Battlefield 42 multiplayer online, which was my all-time favorite. That'd be fucking awesome, especially with like updated graphics and skills and stuff.
You know what's crazy is that when you're developing a game like Battlefield, like your goal is to make the best first-person shooter available, so much so that nobody plays any other first-person shooter that's available.
Yeah,
Because like they're kind of in that position where they can put together a game where like that's the game everybody's playing, and it's crazy to think that one developer has that much responsibility to the gamers. You know, because what if?
yeah. I mean, Call of Duty it normally holds the crown.
Does it? I've always thought
yeah.
Battlefield was the superior game.
I like I've tended to like Battlefield more, but I think since Modern Warfare, I think that Call of Duty's been essentially the number one FPS, at least amongst casuals.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Call of Duty doesn't have nearly as much customization and RPG elements as Battlefield, does it?
I haven't played it in a long time, but I think they do have like equipment and stuff that you can switch and abilities or talents or whatever that you can apply to your character or swap out. But I'm not sure. I haven't played a Call of Duty in a long time.
Yeah, I might be behind the times too, but my bias is goes to Battlefield for some reason. But I'm open to Call of Duty. I just haven't really played it in a while.
The Battlefield always had like the vehicles and crazy stuff, whereas Call of Duty is more of the quintessential shooter.
Yeah, which one was it? Call of Duty 3, I think it was, like the first mainstream Call of Duty that came out. It was like one of the first online shooters that was actually like a AAA game. I think it was Call of Duty 3, and I think it was for the PS3 or the PS4. But I remember when that first came out, and like that was the game. Everybody was like, holy shit. Because I think Call of Duty came out before the Battlefield series. Now, again, I could be wrong about that.
Well, there was like the old Battlefield series, and then there was Call of Duty like 1942 and stuff. So there's really old Call of Duties as well.
Yeah, so technically it's hard to compare it like that.
Maybe even Day of Defeats were Call of Duty. They Call of Duty Day of Defeat.
Oh my god.
They're both really old franchises.
Yeah, I suppose.
They've always kind of done something different. Battlefield was always the one that was like 64 players on one map and tanks and shit. And Call of Duty was, especially when it came to 4, when it went Modern Warfare, it was definitely about having a really good, short, concise first-person single player, and then just kind of the meat and potatoes of FPS.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah. Time to kill so quick on those games, though. Like that's why I always liked Halo. I like a little bit more of a duel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just spawn.
I wonder how the new Halo is. Like I miss the feeling of playing the first Halo, and even the second one was really good. But after the second one, I kind of fell off the Halo train.
3 was the best one. Yeah, it looks good to me. I like how they're like using the grappling hooks to like grab weapons, and doesn't look like it's bogged down in stupid powers. Yeah, I mean, looks like Halo.
Yeah,
looks like
it
a
does.
fun Halo game.
Yeah, it does. Shit.
Yeah. Plus, like grappling hooks, dude. Come on, give me a grappling hook. I'm ready to go.
The last time I played a first-person shooter with a grappling hook that actually worked okay was Twine. The World Is Not Enough for the N64.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, they're coming back, baby.
Yeah.
Grappling hooks are coming back in a big way.
It worked well in Twine, man.
It is the age of the grappling hook. The age of the grappling hook.
Ooh, funky.
Yeah, dude. Alrighty, that's all I had for news. Did you have anything to talk about there, Hey Hop?
Think here. No, not really.
Alright. Just want to give out all the stuff then.
Yeah, we got 7 Days to Die, a bunch of shit coming out on that, and we've got the Grounded recordings coming up too, hour-long episodes. So just go to the Havoc Gaming channel. You can find all that stuff there. We're constantly pumping out material, constantly pumping out content, trying to keep the quality up, but the quantity high as well.
Alrighty. Thanks everyone for listening and watching the Nuclear Grenade podcast. So like, comment, subscribe, all that garbage, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.